1, 2. Okay, you don't need that. Well, that concludes our first round of the regular season. I hope everybody had a good time because everybody came out, put it on the line. It's funny enough, Jason and I kind of jinxed it a little bit because we said that we probably have about 8 to 10 finishes tonight. And we ended up with 5. Hey, okay, 5 is still good. But yeah, there were some good highlights. Sean Jordan came in. Jordan Johnson came in tonight and with an undefeated record and fought one of our fighters, and kind of just shows where we are in the market, who we are as the fighters that we have in the league. He was an undefeated fighter and lost him on a split decision. I thought the decision could have gone either way. It was a close fight, but congratulations to Nexon who won that fight. But yeah, now Jordan's going to come back in this second regular season fight and really battle hard to get to the playoffs, because now he's got to really earn points to get there. And we ended up with 5 finishes tonight, and I thought, listen, I was sitting there hoping that we would get 5 finishes at least. Peter and I were looking at each other like, these guys have to come out and finish, and they did. So it was good to see the last few fights, guys put on the line and walk away with some high points and also some finishes. So it was great. Now we're looking forward to the second round of the regular season in Atlantic City, and I hope you guys had a good night tonight.
Last fight tonight, Mariano's already looked unbeatable, unstoppable.
Right.
What's your assessment of this fight tonight?
Yeah, no, you know what? I think he took the page of Sean O'Connor's last fight with Vinny, because that it almost looked like that was a replay. He came out, hurt him, and then just kept the standing. And every time Vinny was trying to get him to the ground, he was able to defend and get back to his feet and pick them apart. And so I think the stoppage was warranted because Vinny was taking a lot of shots. I mean, he was getting batted around the cage somewhat. So, but yeah, no, Sorty, I thought he fought well, it looked great. So we were glad to have him back, because going through the season and going through the lineup at first, he was actually at that end of the lineup and trying to think of who fell out, but that person fell out and Sorty actually got the opportunity to take that spot. So I'm sure he's happy with his performance tonight, and so are we.
Ray, why was Sorty towards the end of the list? Are you surprised by the potential to beat the runner-up from last season?
We just had some really good names and talent. We needed also a couple of guys. We had a Mexican fighter that, unfortunately some things didn't happen for him to, to fulfill that. So Sorty ended up back in the roster. But listen, we got to see him tonight, and I thought he looked amazing. And he basically came out and made a statement that he went up against the runner-up for the 2018 season championship, and he's, I'm sure he said to himself, no, I'm going to go out there and show them that I belong here, and he did that. So we were happy with that.
What do you think of Nicholson and Barroso? How do you score that fight?
It was a very close fight. I thought the decision was correct, but it was a close fight. Could have gone either way. You know what I mean? So again, that was a barn burner where it was just, I thought the fight was back and forth right throughout the fight. So it didn't surprise me, because I thought, anybody could have, it was such a close fight that either guy could have won the fight. You know what I mean? So.
Any word on their updates on their injuries? And,
Alex said to me that he broke his rib in the first round. And I told him it's not broken because he was talking fine, he was bending over. I've broken a few ribs in my day as well, and guys normally can't be standing there bending over when you have a broken rib. You know what I mean? So, and fortunately for him, he went to the hospital and got it checked out, and it came out he's clear, he's good. It's probably just badly bruised.
Ray, you've gone through the first round of the regular season. Give us 3 or 4 fighters of all 3 of those that kind of impress you the most.
Gee, you're putting me on the spot now. The first was the welterweights and females. I thought Ray Cooper, again came out and did his thing. Sadabusi, when we told him that we weren't going to have the middleweight division, I thought he was going to go to 205. And then he said, no, he's going down to 170. So my next question was, aren't you too big for 170? But apparently he walks around at 185, 190. So, and out of everybody, I thought he was going to be the concern because he is a tall guy. Man, he made weight easy. So, those guys from last year, trying to think of, because my mind's so fresh with what just happened tonight. So the lightweights, obviously Nathan, came out and did his thing. The lightweights and the welterweights, Lance Palmer did his thing. Rashid Magomedov, again, looked great. So some of the guys that from last year's season, and I think it's almost like when I competed in K1 where the top 8 guys knew we wanted to show the newcomers that we belonged. And so I think that's what happened in the beginning of the season, where the regular season, most of the guys that came back from last year, came out on top in winning their fights. And so I think that's kind of like the attitude now. We're the gatekeepers, and you guys gonna have to earn that spot, to go forward.
Thoughts on the Kevin Tiller fight, especially the Kimura? What was your reaction to that?
Well, Kevin always surprises me. I thought that fight was going to be, a slugfest. Knowing that, now I got to say that Pete put me on the spot, and he says, you got to pick one. I'm going with Tiller. I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to go with Muhammad, and Pete was right. But it just goes to show that Tiller's got all these skills. Matter of fact, Jason also picked Tiller to win that fight. I now would never ever go against Tiller anymore because he's showing that not only he can knock you out, he can also submit you. You know what I mean? But no, it just goes to show that he's a guy that with a lot of talent. And one of the things I did tell Tiller last year was I wanted him to come a little bit lighter. And this year he jumped on the scale, made way easy. And so I think that also, the other thing that I liked about his fight tonight was that he was very composed. Muhammad was on the move, stick and move, but you could see on Tiller's face, he was very composed in what he was doing. And it was just a matter of time. Once it hit the floor, again, I thought there was going to be a knockout, but hey, Tiller proved me he showed something else.
Right. In the Marquez Pesalele fight, I think I pronounced his last name right.
Yep.
All right. Obviously Marquez gets the win, but the standings show him his own one because he didn't make weight. Does he get with show money and win money?
Correct.
And what about, and Pesalele will not get win money?
No, he'll get his show, right?
No, they both will get show and win.
And that's the reason why I told Ronnie that, see, Ronnie is very lucky that Singy decided to take the fight. Singy did exactly what Ray Cooper did. He wanted the extra points. Unfortunately for him, he came second best tonight. But he did exactly what Cooper did, and he still gets his full pay. He still gets that 3 points. But Ronnie, I told Ronnie he's got to go thank Zingy, because if Zingy didn't actually want those extra points, he wouldn't have fought tonight, and I would have cut him. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not going to tolerate. He had all this time to get ready to make weight, and so I'm not going to tolerate guys, because everybody is cutting weight. Everybody is training hard. You know what I mean? And I get that. you know, sometimes this happens, but he's a guy that's been in the game a while, so it's just not good enough for me. And so he was very lucky that he's still in the season because of Singy. If Singy didn't decide to fight, he would have been out already.
So they both go home with 2 paychecks. essentially.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what PFL does. We look after our fighters, you know, and so you know we've started saying that we're fighters first, and we're going to make sure that we continue to do that.
Can you give your thoughts on Zeke's performance in 3-1 fighter getting Satoshi Ishii run for his money?
You know, yeah, absolutely. I was very impressed with Zeke tonight. I think he kind of got a little bit tired towards the last round, but up to that point, I was very impressed. I think he's got a big future ahead of him. You know, when you compare the experiences and what he did, I mean, Satoshi could barely take him down in the first 2 rounds, and so no, I was very pleased that I think Zeke's got a big future.
Ray, you just mentioned that if Torres didn't fight tonight, Marks didn't fight tonight, he'd be out.
Correct.
Last event, you had 3 fighters: Torres, Almeida, and Becerra didn't make weight. Are they out?
Say that again.
The last event, you had 3 fighters. You didn't
Yes.
make weight. You kick them out?
I don't know if we've released that card yet, but Torres definitely out. Who was the other one?
Almeida and Becerra.
Well, Almeida actually, see, Torres was out due to other reasons, and to what you call it again, HIPAA law. Obviously, I can't go into that, but he's out because of that. Almeida only missed by 1 point, by 1 pound. So, you know, and because he's been with us, he was with us last year, never missed weight. He was always, you know, a professional. So, listen, we're willing to forgive certain things, but when you come in at 6 pounds over, you know what I mean? Fortunately for Marks as well, that the commission allowed him to fight, because I think in New York, in the commission in New York City, is if you're 10 pounds over the weight limit, they wouldn't allow you to fight. So he was lucky that both those scenarios played out for him, which commission allowed for him to fight, and Simi also wanted the extra points.
Right. Can you talk more about Satoshi Ishii? What did you see him from tonight?
Listen, Satoshi Ishii is a veteran. I mean, like, he's been around. You know, he's fought some of the best, and so I was, again, it wasn't. Listen, Satoshi fought a great fight, and you know he won the fight. But I think, given Zeke's performance, it kind of like highlighted that fight, which was great. And you know, again, I was happy for Satoshi that he won. But Zeke showed that that he belongs here. So that was the highlight of one of the highlights of the night for sure.
Ray, you kind of hinted that you might already have the event 5 matchups.
Correct.
Do you want to announce it now? Give some nuggets.
Well, I actually thought that I thought we had announced it already, but obviously not. So I'm not going to jump the gun, because otherwise the digital team's going to kick my backside. You know what I mean? So I don't want to jump the gun yet.
You'll get it. All right. Any other questions for Ray?